tonight, we'll do a roll call vote. And so I've been keeping track. So I've got a little cheat sheet for that. So we will just move right along through our agenda. So following our typical order, Heather, I assume you've got the roll call all squared away there.
Yes. Are you going to do it verbally, or am I just going to mark who's?
If you could just mark people off, and then we'll just know that we'll roll call for votes as well.
Okay, I got it.
Very good. Thanks, Heather. All right. With that, let's move forward with the approval of the agenda. Paul sent us out 3 items. Paul, I've got right now under old business, Windows, Steamboat Thunder, and under new business, Ventrac. Was there another one that I was supposed to add? I could not see anything else.
And that was my mistake. Number 4 under old business would be the subdividing of the Ken Ellis Center.
Got it.
So we've got 4 old and the 1 Ventrac.
Got it. Thank you.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, that we would have to vote on that agenda. We have to vote on the changes to the agenda since the agenda was already sent out.
So I was going to, for that individual item, Bill?
I believe so. Is that correct, Mr. Merkley? The agenda was so hodgepodge.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out what agenda we're working off of. I'm looking at an email that was out. It looks like it was sent out last Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that the agenda that was sent out?
Yes.
Okay. So I would assume then to add something to that agenda would take forward action. So.
And exactly what are we adding? I didn't follow what Paul said.
That's okay. Chad is on here. Chad Reichel is on here from Planning and Zoning to talk about a situation at the Ken Ellis Center. Chad, would you just speak on that real quick before we get started?
Sure. We're looking to subdivide the property that the Ken Ellis Center is on. So we're separating the open space component from the Ken Ellis Center component in order to correct an issue regarding the property in the past had been given to us by the Land and Water Conservation Fund and was supposed to be protected as open space. So we're just subdividing that property.
So with that, I'll entertain a motion to add point number 4 under, I guess would that be under, or point number 2 under new business?
That would make sense.
I don't remember hearing about this in the past.
That's correct.
Yeah, it should be new business.
Okay, then let's make this, if we have a motion, it will be point number 2 under new business, but I'll entertain a motion to add point number 2 under new business, the subdividing of the Ken Ellis property.
I approve the agenda with the changes so noted.
Very good. I've got a motion. Do I've got a second?
Second.
That looked like a second. I'm going to say that was Savannah. I couldn't really tell. We'll do a quick roll call. Bill?
Aye.
Lisa? Lisa, you're on mute there. Let me see. I think
Aye.
there you go. There. Thank you, Lisa. Mark?
Yes.
Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Very good. All right. We've got our agenda then for this evening. We've got the minutes that were sent out by Heather. You should have had a chance to review those. And so with that, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes from March 23rd.
So moved.
We've got a motion from Bill. Do I have a second?
Approve.
I think that looked like it was Scott or sounded like Scott. So let's do a quick roll call. Bill?
Aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. We've got our minutes approved for March 23rd. All right. let's move right into old business if we can. You'll recall in the packet that was sent out, there was an email about the windows at the field house. Paul, do you want to give a quick update or a brief overview about what that project was and where we stand currently?
Sure, no problem. So we had met to talk about new windows last month, and there were some prices thrown around, and then we met on the job site at the field house to talk about what that would look like, and the suggestion came up about painting vinyl windows. And you can see I had the PPG rep who weighed in on this, as well as Ed Seward, who owns Positive Colors Painting Company. And they both in that email are saying that, basically saying that you could paint vinyl windows, but they wouldn't recommend it. The heat, the 40 to 50 degree heat change could cause the windows to warp or bleed or split. Neither one of them could guarantee any kind of warranty. At first they said you might get a year, you might get 5 years, but they just don't know. So Ed with Positive Colors, because that was the situation, dropped out of the bidding because he didn't want to put his name on something that might not last a year. You know, if we have a hot summer, it would really be bad on that paint and that vinyl window. If we had 5 mild summers, may not have a problem with it. But that was their recommendation. I am following their recommendation that we don't move on painting vinyl windows, and we look at doing something different. He also had a company, which you look at the bottom there, another guy that he works with, look at wrapping the vinyl windows in black aluminum. And the problems with how you would attach it, whether it be screws, nails, or adhesive, became an issue. And that guy also pulled out and said, look, you know, I'd love the job. I'd love to do the job, but I can't guarantee that that's the best option to wrap a vinyl window in aluminum. So that being said, I'm just going to say, unless someone wants to go out and reach out to another paint company, I feel pretty confident with PPG. We've dealt with them for years. And those guys know what they're doing. And but if anybody wants to recommend that we go somewhere else to another paint company and get their opinion, we can do that. But I used to work in the lumber business for 25 years. We sold wood windows, aluminum clad windows, and vinyl windows. And in those 25 years, I never heard of anybody painting a vinyl window. So when the suggestion came up, I had my doubts that it would work, but I'd been out of the window business for about 8-9 years, and maybe things have changed in vinyl windows. Maybe they changed in paint product, but come to find out, per the Porter Paint guy, that nothing has changed really, that it's not guaranteed, and he wouldn't recommend it. So I'll see if anybody has any comments on that.
I did have a brief conversation with my Sherwin-Williams rep, and he said they do paint windows, but I would need to have a more in-depth conversation. And he says they say it has about a 5-year longevity. I got Jobin windows recently in a new building I remodeled in downtown Jeff, and they actually came painted from the factory of bronze. They were white and they painted them bronze. So to me, that there should be a product out there, but I'm not for sure. I haven't spent any time on it.
Well, let me ask this question. If we do paint it and we've got to repaint it every 5 years, does that sound smart?
I don't know, because I don't know the cost.
Yeah.
Can't answer that question.
Yeah.
You know, if the cost to paint it is minuscule, we probably need to get back together as a subcommittee and discuss the options.
Yep, that sounds good. We'll move on to the next one then.
Paul, really quick. So with that, are you going to pull the group together to make that happen?
Yeah, Bill, do you want to contact the Sherwin-Williams guy and have him meet us out there, or
I can get you Daniel's information if you'd like to speak to him.
Yeah, that sounds good. Why don't you send that over?
Like I said, I only had a brief conversation with him, but he says they do paint them.
Okay.
So, but I'll send you over his information, and then we can see about getting together as the committee after you talk to him.
Sounds good. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Bill. All right, let's move on to steamboat contracts. If I looked at it correctly, there were 2 in there. One for a carousel and then another one for a train. Sarah, am I?
Right. Before I turn
Yeah.
over to Sarah, in the original packet sent out Thursday were the same contracts. We've sent them out again today with some changes recommended by Les Merkley, that we add some language in there about 19. And on the second contract, is an additional information in there on that. Les, you want to speak, or Sarah want to speak on that?
So basically what he added in is that we would still pay the deposit, and then if we canceled this year, the deposit would go towards next year.
Les, does that sound okay?
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. I do think that we're going to have to be looking at these contracts have anything to do with this summer or this fall. We're going to have to look at them closely to make sure we have some language in there to protect ourselves. Because I think there's a good possibility that what we're experiencing now could go well into the summer and into the fall. So we need to make sure we have contracts that give us the protection we need to get out in the event of the pandemic continuing.
Right. Okay.
Since we've already signed a lot of those contracts, is there a way to kind of go back on them now?
Well, we probably need to go back and you need to look at the contracts and see. A lot of the contracts hopefully have clauses in there for like an act of God or something that and then we get back to what's the definition. What's an act of God? Is a pandemic an act of God? Is quarantine an act of God? It's probably going to take some type of government action. But what I would request is that those contracts that we have approved going through the end of the year, that I get copies of all those so I can look at them and see which ones we might have problems with.
Okay.
But going forward, I want to make sure all contracts have some type of language that would give us an out in the event we need to, based on the current situation.
Right. Okay. And I'll get with Paul, but I can reach out to everyone that we've booked that could potentially be canceled once. And if that does happen, and I think a lot of them would waive any fees as long as we book them next year.
Because I just saw where Louisville they canceled the Bourbon and Beyond, the Louder Than Whatever festival, and then the Country Music Festival too. All 3 of those were in September, and they were all canceled. So.
I'm just curious, Les, is there certain language maybe you should provide to Sarah and Paul? I'm fine with this contract, but it specifically mentions COVID-19. If this comes back in the fall, what if they call it COVID-20?
Well, I would say COVID-19 or any pandemic, but
cover it.
What I would like to, we don't necessarily have to do on this contract, but I've talked to Dave on some of his contracts. I'm going to come up with language that will deal not just with COVID-19, with any other type of issue like this. So I think we go back to the act of God. I think we just need to define what that is. And if we put in there a pandemic or a quarantine, I think we're covered.
Good deal. Anybody have any questions for Sarah on these contracts? We'll do the.
And then back on the other issue, Bill. I mean, one could also argue that if you have a contract for a concert and the governor says you can't have concerts, then it's an issue that the contract becomes impossible to execute, and the parties are relieved of their obligation. But that may require litigation, so it's best for us to try to hammer that out beforehand.
Okay.
So let's move forward with approving the 2 newest contracts with the 12th line that talks about the cancellation specifically for COVID, and then Sarah, if you could move forward with getting those contracts to Les, I think that would be that's our best course of action at this point. And so I will entertain a motion to approve These are the two fun time contracts, one for 9,000, one for 6,500. Let's just do those together since it's the same vendor. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the two contracts for fun time.
Very good. I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm sorry. Who is that? I can see a phone number, but I can't see a name.
Who seconded that?
I did, Savannah.
Okay.
Oh, that's Savannah.
Savannah?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
calling. Got it. Very good. All right. So we've got a second from Savannah. Bill?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Hey,
But,
Scales is here. I just got on a couple minutes ago.
Here's Ralph.
oh, that's Ralph Scales. Hey, Ralph, how are you, sir?
Yeah. Good.
Very good. All right. I will make a note of that. Thank you.
Ralph, do you want to vote?
Yes. Votes yes.
Perfect. Thanks, sir. Paul, you want to move us on to Thunder contracts?
Right, there's that one contract for Savory Catering. The Thunder over Louisville date has changed to August 15th, 2020. Let's see. It's a 4-page contract that was sent out, and Sarah can answer any questions.
Sarah, I am trying to find it. Does this have any of that similar language about cancellation?
No, but in this contract, we are not out any money.
This contract is for us to receive
Just pay a commission?
Yeah.
Correct.
Got it.
I don't show getting it, but I may have overlooked it.
Oh, the Thunder over Louisville. It was sent out with the original packet. Did everybody else get it?
It was the one marked Savory.
I feel like I saw it. I just can't find it at this very moment.
It was in the packet. I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
It's in the email sent on 4/23. It's the last one down. It's the last attachment.
There it is. Thank you, sir.
I make a motion to approve the contract.
All right, so we've got a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Jonna. All right. Bill?
Aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Mark?
Well, I'll abstain since I'm having trouble finding it, but if you don't have enough votes, let me know.
Okay. Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And Ralph?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much. All right. And that was the only one for the Thunder contract, Paul?
That's correct.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to the new business Ventrac mowers.
Right. So I sent out in the packet originally on Thursday, we had a Ventrac mower. We had a blower. We also had a boom. There's like 4 different items on there. Boom mower, turbine blower, and I forget what the 4th one was. Tim, what was that 4th one?
4th one was the Tough Cut, the Bush Hog.
The Bush Hog. Okay.
Yeah.
So these are all things that we could use. But after a conversation we had on Friday with the mayor and some other members of the staff about purchasing, and Matt Owen actually was on there talking about let's watch our purchasing for the rest of this year and not go overboard on some things. I decided to pull back on a few things. We definitely need that Ventrac. This is being used or will be used up at Chapel Lake on that 110-acre park up there. And we really, after talking with Tim, we can't get around not having one. It would put a big dent in our mowing if we didn't have something like that up there. The boom and the blower and the Tough Cut are additions that would be nice to have, but we can do without them this year. So I decided to pull the other three, but I want to keep in there the Ventrac, and that one was
$21,619.75.
Yep, that sounds right. Is that
Yeah,
right?
and the list price on that unit is $25,000. We're actually going to another distributor, and they're giving us a better pricing than what we had before. Paul, you're missing out on the. We have to have the bush hog to go with that piece of equipment.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the other two, the boom and the
blower.
The blower, yeah, we can hold off on that till, you know.
And the Tough Cut bush hog was $36.93 the list or our cost?
Yeah, you have the one that's, I don't have it in front of me here. Hang on. Yeah, the tractor was 21 grand.
Yep.
And the attachment, I think, was $3,600.
$36.93.
Yes. And
I'm assuming that was the our cost and not the list on it. So right, we're looking for the Tough Cut at $36.93.75 and the Ventrac at 21. Josh, what was the rest? 21.
$21,619.75.
619.75, which puts them both around just under 25,000. We have about 60,000 in that line item, in our equipment line item in green space. So if we would have purchased the other two items, we still would have had the money to do it. But I thought I would heed the advice of Matt Owen and the staff that maybe we wouldn't purchase everything right now. We cut back on some of the non-essentials. Also, I sent out, just on the same subject, from Kenny Machinery. There's a letter there talking about the Ventrac product, and they are, let's see, since the acquisition of the line with Toro, a lot of things have changed currently, and probably till next year. KMC is the only authorized distributor dealer of the Ventrac line in the state of Indiana, Kentucky. Just to let you know, we couldn't get three prices on a Ventrac because they're the only dealer on Ventrac.
That's our second Ventrac tractor, is that right?
It is, yes. Then we use it on 65. We use it on 10th Street, Duffy. What else do we use that
on? Duffy's Landing, Worley, Green Space, Sewer Plant Berm, Veterans Parkway, Shirley's Arbor, and the Green Space Berm, just to name the most important ones. But mainly I-65 because we use it nearly almost 3 to 4 days every 2 weeks.
And Tim and I talked about, well, we can use that one in both locations, but with the addition of Chapel Lake and then, like Tim mentioned, the Shirley probably later this year, we just couldn't use that one Ventrac in all of our locations.
So, quick question: what's the advantage of the Ventrac, like at Chapel Lake, where presumably most of it will be finish mowing, where you could use a zero turn?
Well, the Ventrac you can actually use on some of them slopes. When you get close to the lake, when you get on the berms, you can't do a zero turn on the berms, nor near the lake and the long pathways. Plus, it has a wider cut. You know, we have the 72-inch up there right now, and you're just limited. And that gives an additional mower to mow with as well.
Any other questions from any authority members? So the total cost would be $25,313. That'll be for the Ventrac, and then for the Tough Cut as well.
So are we saying it would reduce some hours? I mean, what's the advantage of buying that tractor, I guess, compared to what we're doing today? I mean, what's it going to help?
Well, if we really didn't have Chapel Lake, we could probably get away with it. But being that we're doing I-65 and all the loops, all the berms, I mean, you got 3 clover leaves. You have the 3-to-1. You got 3-to-1 slopes in a lot of areas. So, like over there next to the car dealership, over there next to exit 0. And it's mainly a safety factor because we actually was going to try to get this last month. So we actually tried to cut with some 0 turns, and that did not work. We already had 2 incidences. And to have another unit, we can keep 1 unit stationed at Chapel Lake, and we can keep 1 downtown.
So since it's safety related, I'll give a motion to approve.
All right, so we have a motion from Scott. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I think that was Mark.
Yes.
I'm not sure where I heard that. All right, Bill?
Yeah, aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We'll go to the last item there, and Chad is going to talk a little bit more. He mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting, but he can talk and answer questions on that Lansdowne Park plat subdivision.
Sure. Thanks, Paul. So about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, I reported to the Parks Board about an inadvertent sale of land that the city purchased with grant money from the U.S. Land and Water Conservation Fund. Specifically, this is land that is underneath the Ken Ellis Center, the Envision Center, and the neighboring subdivision that is owned by the Housing Authority. This land was supposed to be preserved as open space in perpetuity. And unfortunately, until we can fully document the purchase of land that is valued more than the value of the land that was sold, we are on the blacklist, so to speak, from receiving further funds from the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The planning department, I don't know, has been watching this and talking about this for some time. And we're kind of taking a small step here toward rectifying the problem. Approximately half of the land that the Ken Ellis Center is located on, I should say half of the parcel that the Ken Ellis Center is located on, is still open space. There's tennis court, pickleball court on it, basketball court. That still counts as open space in the eyes of the Land and Water Conservation Fund. We want to make sure that we can, we're going to divide this property so that we can put the deed restriction for open space on the half that remains open space, so that means we're documenting more of the land is preserved, and that means there's less land that we have to purchase in the future. Planning and zoning paid David Blankenbaker to do the plat, so we can kind of work on fixing this problem. We've signed off on it as the planning department, but we need your approval of the subdivision of the property so that we can get it signed off by the owner, specifically the Parks Board, signed and recorded.
So, Chad, just to make sure I understand, so this will split parcels 1 and 2. Parcel 1 will continue to remain the open land parcel of the total?
That is correct.
Okay.
And in the plat, we've actually included the grant language that protects that open space. So
very good.
At one time, we spoke about maybe Chapel Lake counting for some of this, but by acquiring that basically as a donation, does that not qualify?
The issue is that we have to go through a pretty specific process with the federal government to document any purchase. We have to do assessments of the existing land that was sold versus the land that we're acquiring. So there's a little bit of a process that happens before the land is purchased and acquired. Unfortunately, they don't allow you to do it retroactively. So that's sort of been a problem as we've, moved pretty quickly on a few parcels recently that we haven't really been able to qualify. Specifically Chapel Lake Park, also Big Four Station or Big Four. So those are sort of two of the bigger recent purchases. There may be some future.
If the land, if the land's in redevelopment, it transfers to parks, does that count, or do they count that as already being a city entity?
I don't know about that. I'd have to do some more inquiry about that. Was there a place you were considering, or?
I'm not for sure who the deed holder is for like Shirley's Arbor. I'm thinking it might be redevelopment. And if redevelopment was willing to work with you to use that parcel for the swap, you know.
We can look into it.
Thanks, Chad.
I make a motion we approve the subdivision.
Very good. I've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Scott. Let's make the call. Bill?
Aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Savannah?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
And Ralph?
Yes.
Very good. We will make that approval. Thank you very much. Thanks, Chad, for being on tonight and sharing what you're up to. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Josh, rather than go around the room like we do normally,
yeah,
I'm going to go through a list of things that we've got, and I might call out on some of my managers and some of the other people that are on the Zoom meeting here, if they can help answer any questions.
Very good.
If that's all right, I'll just go down my list of things here. First, the river stage. They finished today the foaming of the river stage. Matt and Donnie Grimes and myself went down and took a look at it. Everything looks good as far as we could tell. We thought that it may be best to take it out on the river one time. So I'm going to set up a time with our the people, the towing company, that the tugboat company that pushes it up and down the river, and take it down, maybe park it downtown, and then bring it back and see how if there's any kind of leaking or any kind of, if it takes on any water, we can get an idea of what kind of job they did. So I think we're going to plan on that next week. Now that the foam finishing is done, or the foaming has been done, the painting will start. The woodwork has all been completed, but the painting will start sometime later this week. And that should be done I think they said once it starts, it should be done about 2 weeks. So that's where we're at with River Stage. If things were to get better and a River Stage would happen in June, it would be ready in June. Now, I don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to be painted, and the foam and everything else is ready on it. So we're ready if a June 5th concert happens, but it's looking more and more like it's not going to happen. Next thing is Chapel Lake. The playground is 99% done. When the playground people were there, they broke one of the buckles on one of the pieces and had to reorder it. And they're coming down tomorrow to install it. The underground drain system has been completed. And so now they're just waiting on the soft surface, the poured in place rubber, which will start as soon as they're done fixing the piece of equipment, which I'm assuming will be sometime Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week. And then the playground should be done, I think, by sometime mid next week. And then we'll have to chain it off or rope it off and put up signs and keep people out of it, like we do all the rest of our playgrounds for the time being. The restroom access panels, our system was worked on today by security pros, and that should have been completed. The cameras are being installed tomorrow, so that should be done by the end of the week. Talking with the contractor, they're hoping to get in earlier than July to get back on the creek restoration. They're talking with the powers that be to see if they can get them in a little bit earlier, but worst case is sometime in July they would start. It's probably about a 2-month process. So we're probably looking at sometime in late August, early September for the whole project to be complete. As far as a grand opening, we still haven't decided on anything yet. But it could be available as early as June or July if we decide that's what we want to do, but we're going to wait a little bit before we make any announcements on that. Down at the Fieldhouse, we've been doing some more painting all the ramps. 3 of 4 ramps have been completed, and they're on the 4th ramp now. Sarah Nord has started painting the bleachers upstairs. There are 4 sides, and the east side of the building has been completed and looks really good. We painted the green, red and gray now. Green has gone away, and now it's red and gray, so it matches up with the other colors in the building and looks pretty sharp as far as I'm concerned. So the one side is done. She'll start working on the other 3. And then she obviously has some help with some of my other maintenance guys. Danny Poff and Bobby Wilcoxon are down there helping. And actually one of the drainage employees that were lent to us by Andy Crouch when the COVID-19 happened, we picked up 4 or 5 of their employees that are doing work for us. And one of those guys is a former painter. So he's down at the Fieldhouse helping out with that painting. And while I'm talking about the other 3 or 4 guys are up at Chapel Lake. Well, one of them is actually helping mow in the green space division, but the other 3 are up at Chapel Lake helping to clear some of that forest of its dead trees and branches and weeds and things like that. And they're doing a fantastic job. If you're out in that area, drive down Salem Road, the backside of Chapel Lake, and look at all the work they've done clearing out that area near the road. It looks like a different park. So anyway, that's what's going on there. Walker was at the Fieldhouse today doing some work on the air conditioner unit, doing whatever he's got to do that. And then once Siemens comes and finishes that portion of it, we can do a walkthrough with them and they can show us how to turn the sucker on. Bill, do you have any updates on Fieldhouse?
About a week ago, roughly, I went back to Greta Clark and IT at the city, and they had not gotten the information needed from Greta Clark. So I was able to get the IP addresses that they needed and sent those to Tom and the Siemens rep at the same time. But I have not heard when they're coming. So if they're missing anything to Siemens is to finish the job, I'm not aware of it. I actually had it on my list to try to email Tom this week, but haven't yet. So is Tommy coming? Have you seen Tommy?
Tommy sent his guy, I forget the guy's, Jeff Smith. He sent him in today to do some work, but he didn't say he would be in there. But I asked him about the Siemens, and he wasn't sure. He said he was going to call Siemens to find out if they have everything done or if they have everything they need to finish up. So I'll talk to Tom tomorrow about it.
I'll try to, I should have time tonight. I have an email where Tommy had copied me on the Siemens guy, and I provided him with the IP addresses he needed from Greta Clark. So I'll try to email him and copy you tonight and say, when are you finishing to the Siemens guy?
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate that. So moving on, the green space are doing the best they can to keep up with the mowing. We've had some good weather the past 3 or 4 weeks. We've had a lot of sun, so they're able to get it done. I just, once the rain starts to come a little bit more, we might have a tough time keeping up with it, but we're doing the best we can with it, and they're doing a great job. The maintenance guys are doing the best they can with the flood cleanup. Every time the flood waters go up, the Fisherman's Wharf and Duffy's Landing get a bunch of debris dumped on it. And my guys, with the help of that piece of equipment they purchased last month, which again, thank you for that, they're able to get down there and clean that up in a more efficient and timely way. But again, it seems to happen every other week. The river comes up and we're waiting for that time of year when it stops flooding. But I'm not sure when that is right now, but also getting fields ready just in case softball starts in July. We're going to have fields ready, working on some river stage issues. They seeded the lawn down at the overlook or down at the terrace lawn, and then getting the pool ready for just in case the pool opens up this year. We'll have the umbrellas up and concession stand work done and all that stuff. So maintenance guys are staying busy, keeping all that in play. And then moving on, talking about the pool, Olivia can speak on it if you'd like to, but we had three major jobs done in the past couple months. Olivia, you want to remind everybody what they were?
Yeah, so we fixed the leak for the kid pool where they had to drill in the concrete and fix that 10-inch pipe. So that was fixed and filled with concrete last Wednesday. The gutters were fixed. That was done early at the end of March. And then the sand replacement, which was done also at the end of March. So.
Right. And just so everybody knows, the gutters, they're not the gutters on the building, they're the gutters on the pool.
Gutters.
Yeah, which is a pretty major job, but they did a great job. And speaking of the repair to the leak, we had a large water bill last year. Well, actually, I had a large sewer bill based on the water usage. And the sewer department says as long as you bring them a copy of the repair work done to fix that leak, then they can go back and give you a discount off of that. So now that that work is done, I can take a copy of that, send it downstairs to sewer billing, and they can cut us a credit for that. I don't know where it was up. It was around $25,000, $30,000 sewer bill. But a lot of that will come off once they see the leak has been fixed. Anything else at the pool, Olivia?
The flooring will be finished tomorrow.
Oh yeah, good. That surface on the locker rooms and the bathrooms and everywhere else. So that's good to get that done too. And then like I mentioned at Vissing, we're planning if softball is going to happen, we're planning to have softball start in July. We originally were going to do it. I'm sorry, Ricky, am I speaking correctly? July, is that right?
Yes, you are correct. We're looking at the week of July 6th, if all goes well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Originally, it was going to be sometime in early June, but we bumped it a month because of what's going on. And so we've got that ready. We're still shut down at the soccer fields, completely locked down. Fields are shut down. Building is shut down. So we're not doing anything out there until things clear up a little bit more with the virus. Anything else, Ricky?
No, that's pretty much it right there. You're exactly right as far as the WAC goes also.
Okay, good deal.
Hey, Ricky, how about those two doors, the security things? Are they on, or are they waiting for everything to calm down as well?
Are we talking about at the WAC?
Yes.
Yeah, those are updated as well. As a matter of fact, they came in this week and they finished those doors up. I met with Steve from Security Pros on a few occasions, and they got the doors taken care of. And I also have the Brevo mobile app. So we have access on our cell phone now to be able to lock and unlock those doors when I'm off site as well. So those are taken care of.
Thank you, Ricky. That is a cool app, that Brevo app. I was looking at today, and everywhere we have one of those door contact systems, I can open those doors from my phone. In Vision Center, Bob Hedge Park, Big Four Park, Vissing, all of them, you can operate them right from your phone. So there won't be any more giving out keys to people or giving them codes. Well, that's part of it. Giving them codes would be a lot easier than having to go to the app every day. But we can open it through the app. We can give them codes, and then those codes might change the next day, so the same code doesn't work every day of the week or the month. But anyway, that Brevo app is pretty sharp. I really like that. Okay, just a couple more things here. Let me see. So other than River Stage, as far as Sarah's concerned, Sarah, do you have anything else to talk about that you're working on right now?
No, I'm just kind of on hold until we figure out what's going to happen with June. What I've been working on most recently is moving Steamboat Nights to the October 2nd and 3rd weekend.
Okay, good. And you've had some luck with the Crashers being able to move that weekend?
Yes, the Crashers are scheduled for that Saturday. And so far, everything that we've contracted for that event, we've been able to move to that weekend.
Good. That's good news.
Sarah, I would recommend that we look at those contracts and make sure there's an out in there for COVID-19 or a pandemic or something like that.
Okay.
Good deal. Okay, thanks, Sarah. Dave, are you there? You want to speak of anything?
Just a brief update basically on city partners, because I'm sure everybody's wondering how funds are coming in right now with regards to what's going on. But we are at we're at about $140,000 committed to this point for the year. We've got about majority of all of our presenting or platinum level sponsorships committed for the season. Shoe Sensation being in at $25,000 for our summer concert series and our Steamboat Nights event. Holiday is a Republic Bank again this year. We've got commitments from Budweiser, Diageo brands, both for $12K a piece. Coca-Cola, we're working on a deal with them right now, which is pretty much hemmed up, other than a few contractual pieces for $10,000 a year over 5 years for a total of $50,000 for Twilight Cinema, and then our quite a few hometowns: First Savings Bank, FOWL, Clark Memorial, and then some other sponsors that have come on board. So all of them are looking forward to getting started in June if it happens. We're moving along with planning for beverage and planning for media on the LED screens and every other marketing piece that they get for their package until we hear otherwise. At that point, then we'll discuss whether that we're pushing it back into later in the year for a potential extended season. And that, from my end, is the hopes that we can kind of pull something like that together if it works out that way, just so we can assure that they get the marketing out of what they're trying to accomplish with the funds that they're putting in for the season. So if not, I'll talk more with Les and Paul and whoever it needs to be in regards to how we handle their funds for this year, whether it be pushing them the next year or potential refunds for their sponsorship and that type of thing. So things are still coming in. Partners are still getting involved, and we're trying to hope for better things in June.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Tim, Donnie, or Sarah Nord, do you have anything to add?
No, sir.
Thanks, Sarah.
No, I'm good.
I'm terrific.
Thank you, Donnie. Amber, how about you? You have anything to add today?
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We've just been working on trying to put stuff out on our Jeff Parks page for parents and kids to do at home. I know that they're all kind of probably going crazy at this point, but we're trying to kind of keep them busy and be able to do activities together. I think the Easter egg or the Easter bunny scavenger hunt went over really well. Did you guys know where all those parks were? Some of them not. The other thing is summer camp is kind of in the same boat with the pool and our summer stuff. So we're kind of just waiting to follow the governor's guidelines and CDC guidelines to figure out what we'll do about summer camp, if we can have it at all, or how we can make that work with social distancing.
Okay, thanks a lot. And Josh, that's all I have as far as manager reports.
Very good. Any Parks Authority comments? Member comments?
I had just a couple things. I wanted to thank Chad Reichel for helping with the issue on the land. I know I've been aware of that for about 4 years. And I think it's been going on since then. So it's good to see we're actually making some progress on that as well. I wanted to share that I have the same sentiments of Matt Owen, and I wanted to thank Paul for pulling back on the spending on the Ventrac so we know for sure what COVID-19 is going to mean financially to the city. In my heart, I think we're going to be fine, but we want to see how the property tax revenues come in. My last request, and we've talked about this before, any way, Paul, on the future meetings that we can try to get the agenda not in the email and all the attachments in one email instead of 4 or 5 emails that we have to try to keep up with before the meeting. And also, can it come out the Wednesday or Thursday prior to the meeting?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do a better job with that because of everything that's been shut down. I've struggled having that ready by Thursday. I did get it out Thursday, but then we had some changes. Those changes that Les recommended on those contracts, and that thing with Chad, I just forgot to put that in the packet with Chad's deal at the Ken Ellis building. So yes, I'll promise to do better in the future. And
if it's in 4 or 5 emails, if you would like, I'm happy for you to send it to me. I'm I'm still in the office every day. I can scan it into one email if you need to, if you're not around capabilities to do that.
Okay, appreciate that. One other thing I wanted to add, Bill just reminded me of this, is the, oh shoot. Well, now it slipped my mind. So let's move on, and I'm sure it'll pop back in my mind.
Any other comments?
Yeah, Josh. Hey, this is Scott, and I just wanted to say to the managers and Paul on the call that, you know, the Parks Department's looking great. The parks are looking great. Chapel Lake is beautiful. Everything you're all doing, the field house is coming along. Y'all should be proud of what you're doing and leading through this. You know, we're in uncharted waters, right? No, we've never been into situations like this before. And y'all are doing a great job. Continue to be positive. Continue to lead from the front. And thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Scotty.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Hey, Olivia, question for you. With the lifeguards and CPR certification and all that kind of stuff, how are you able to do that now? Are they able to take a class to where if it maybe was to open on time, are they still able to get certified?
They can. It's just gonna work. I'm looking into doing a blended learning class, so half of it would be online and then the rest would be in person, just in smaller groups, hopefully.
Thanks, Olivia.
Very good. Paul, I do have a question. When will we make a decision, or how will a decision be made about River Stage and pool, and what are we waiting on? Are we waiting on governor, or is that what our next?
Yeah, Paul, I can speak to that. I think that everybody needs to be very cautious right now. I think everyone thinks that there's going to be this magical date, and all of a sudden everything is just going to return to normal. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't have a crystal ball. I would expect that the governor will start fairly soon to implement certain things to begin to lessen the restrictions. Whether or not those restrictions get to the point where we're able to have large events such as the River Stage or the pool remains to be seen. Like I said, Louisville canceled those 3 big concerts that they have that's in September, and they canceled that, which I think gives you a little sign of where things may be headed. So it's really, a lot of the guidance will come from the governor, Josh, and I expect that there'll be a gradual lessening of the restrictions. But again, many of the experts believe that come the fall and the winter, we're going to be right back where we're at now. So.
And I don't disagree with you, Les. My real question, I guess the reason I'm asking that question is I am one of those people who believe that this is going to be around for a minute, and I feel like the sooner that we can make decisions and inform our people and our constituents, the better that we are. But I understand that there is value in waiting until we get some.
Yeah, I think we're sort of waiting. The governor, we believe there's going to be some movement with him on right around May 1st, because the current stay-at-home order expires on May 1st. So I think the thinking is there's going to be some type of decision or modification of that order around May 1st. I also read where the health experts believe that it will not peak in Indiana until right around May 21st, and in southern Indiana later than that, because we are closer to Louisville, and Louisville is about 2 weeks behind Indiana in its peak.
Very good. Thank you, Les. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We've got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
That's Scott. Let's just roll down really quick to approve. Bill?
Yeah. Aye.
Lisa?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Jonna?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Hey, thank you all very much. We will see you next month.
Did Savannah vote?
Yes.
Did I say your name?
I did now.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
You're good. No biggie.
I was trying to follow my notes. Hey, thank you all. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.